Thank you very much. I hope you don't mind if I stay seated here. I think it's going to be a long night for all of us tonight. And just before we get started, if I'm looking a little bit squinty tonight, it's not because any opponent put something in my water. I had an allergic reaction earlier today. My eyes swelled up. So that's the only reason for it. My name is Markus O'Brien Fehr, and I am also running to be our next city councillor here in Willowdale. And I am running both for my family and for yours. I think we are living at a time where it's very easy to become cynical about government, cynical about the work that they do, and ask questions about whether or not it really matters. But I think all of you know, because you've taken the time to come out here tonight, that politics is absolutely critical for our day-to-day lives and for our community. They determine the type of air, the quality of air that we breathe, the quality of roads that we drive on, and what kind of services we are able to rely on each and every day. So this is a very important discussion, and we are heading into some very challenging times, both here in Willowdale and right across the city of Toronto. Being involved is incredibly important. They are lessons that were taught to me as a very young person, growing up, son of two parents who were incredibly involved in their community and gave back to their community in countless ways. It was an expectation coming of age, and I always like to joke that my father was a lot busier in retirement than he ever was during his career. So when I moved to Willowdale 20-some years ago, it was something that I wanted to do as well, to live up to that example that my parents had set. And over the last 20 years, I have gotten involved as a member of the parent council at my kids' local school, running the annual community fun fair to raise money. I was involved in a local condominium board, as so many of our Willowdale community living in condominiums. I was on the board of directors at a local childcare center, understanding the importance of the quality of those city services, and I had been a coach in multiple sports leagues, working with young people, understanding the importance that it is an opportunity for them to connect with one another and get involved in their community as well. I started my career working with kids, running summer camp programs in the private sector. 15 years I helped run a facility in Northern Ontario with a staff of close to 200 and about 450 kids in camp at a time. I took a couple of lessons from that. Number one, that chasing kids around a campsite was sometimes alarmingly comparable to chasing politicians around City Hall, and that was a natural transition to make. But more than that, I spent time in that career really taking fulfillment from watching young people find themselves, find their voices through getting involved in activities, whether it was sports, whether it was arts, whether it was outdoor adventure opportunities. I saw the confidence and strength that grew in them over time, having access to those resources and those services. Getting involved in politics was an opportunity to create that type of infrastructure right here in our community, so that kids of all backgrounds and all socioeconomic levels would have access to those same types of services and that same opportunity to build their own strength, leadership, and character. It's also important for all ages, particularly in a community where we have an increasing number of seniors that want to stay active, stay healthy, and be able to stay in their own homes. So that is what got me into politics. That is what has kept me in politics, because I see it as an opportunity to keep building an excellent community that we can all share together. That is why I now have 11 years experience working at City Hall, working with politicians, working with bureaucrats to find answers to the big challenges in our community, and working with so many of our community leaders that step forward each and every day to run their own programs, whether neighborhood associations, condo boards, parent councils, sports clubs, arts clubs, ethnocultural organizations. These are all of the groups that make the fabric of our community, and it is so important that they are supported. I have spent the last 11 years doing exactly that. But I'm also recognizing that we have some very challenging times ahead, again, both here and right across the city. I think we are all very conscious of the challenges of affordability in our day-to-day lives. Whether we're going to buy groceries or going to buy clothing, prices for everything are going up. And that is true, especially when it comes to housing. I have spoken to so many young people over the last several months that are frankly furious about the fact that they can not only afford to buy a home, but to even rent a home in this community and elsewhere. This is something we have to deal with. And we are only going to be able to deal with that here in Willowdale if we are able to adequately address the services that we rely on each and every day, because we are already squeezed by the development that's already come here. We need to add more efficient transportation. We need to make sure our childcare, libraries, community centers, parks, long-term care homes are all growing with our population, and we need to make sure that we are protecting the environment, not only for today, but for the generations ahead. I hope you will keep me in mind and vote for me October 24th, Markus O'Brien Fehr. Thank you.